you, if you are on RADTV, you've also noticed that Greg from trainwithmap.com is here. His name is not Matt. His name is Greg. It's Map Training. It's trainwithmap.com. And as soon as we posted yesterday that you would be here, Ashley wrote in and at 2 in the afternoon. So we're okay. You got to come through for us here. Okay?
Oh, all right.
All right. Says, I just wanted to throw a quick shout out to Greg. I've heard him on the show a few times, and I went back and I've watched all the segments with him. It convinced me. I emailed for more information, and I had my consultation meeting with Daniel. He immediately made me feel welcome and was so thorough in explaining the program and process. I signed up because I'm tired of feeling like crap every day, and I want to get healthy. Hearing Greg talk about everything in their programs and hearing how it's changed people's lives, I want to be one of those people too. I'm a mom, a full-time student, and I work full-time on top of my son being in sports, and I just can't keep up mentally or physically.
Oh.
So I need my health to improve. I just haven't been able to find the motivation or accountability to keep at it at my own. I have my nutrition meeting with Greg this morning. Wednesday morning. And I am looking forward to getting started. I feel nervous, but I'm excited.
Oh.
Thank you for working with all kinds of great people. I hope that this will be the kick in the ass that I need to meet my goals and feel better about myself and my health. So, and whenever you have an Ashley today, there she is.
Good to know.
Is she in the right headspace for you? Is that where you want her?
Yeah, absolutely. Things are crazy, and she wants to get better, so she's doubling down on herself. That's my people.
All right. Now, we got this email. Now I'm really putting you on the spot because I might be setting us up. But see, you're always so positive because you'll find a way to use this.
I know. I love his positivity.
Because we got this right after you left last time.
Uh-oh.
Okay? So I don't know. I have not asked you. Now, because where are you in your latest 6-week challenge?
So we've been overlapping them,
Okay.
right? Because we have so much overlap between online and in-person people.
So the one that you launched that you announced when you were here back in early March, has that one started yet?
Yes.
Okay, and
Yep.
you're a few weeks in.
Exactly.
Okay. So Bree wrote in and said, I did it. I hit rock bottom. I finally got some grocery money as I was in between jobs. I called my friend. I said, let's go to Costco and get me some groceries so I can start meal planning. And then the more I thought about it, the more depressed I got.
Oh.
All I heard was that little voice in the back of my head saying, why bother? You've tried this so many times. I emailed Greg, but he was out of town. I ended up going into the gym, and I was met with Daniel. This Daniel guy gets around. Told me about his lifestyle and how he had depression and anxiety and the amount of money he's poured into MAP training. He told me about Greg's 6-week program because I've worked so much overtime. I really thought about it, and I finally decided that I am done. I am tired of being the way that I am. So yesterday mornings, this would have been March 2nd, I walked in with my credit card and handed it to Daniel, and I have officially signed up for Greg's 6-week program. I cannot wait to start this and finally see some real change. I think I'm at the lowest point in my life toward it might finally stick. Now, she signs it Bree. She goes by Brianna. Do you know her? Do you know where she's at?
Yeah, so...
Is she a success story? Or
Not right now. I know. I wish I had better news for you, but I'm as positive as I am always honest. And I've been trying to hunt Brianna down.
Aha!
I've been trying to hunt her down. I actually just shot her a couple of messages yesterday. I wrote her an email. Next thing is a phone call. So if you don't show up, I'm going to be at your door.
Well, and interestingly enough, she also ended her email by saying she just bought tickets to see us, you and me, on March 25th. That's this Saturday. So she's shelled out money as well, $9, 18 if she's bringing somebody, to be at our seminar on Saturday. So she better show up, because now she's just flowing this money away, and we will corner her, because I know Brianna.
Oh, do you?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
I mean,
perfect.
I hope people really, I hope that sunk in for them when you were saying you call, email, all the steps, right? So many trainers will not, they have your money already. Right?
Yeah.
They have your money. Whether you follow through with the program or not, you've paid. And that just shows the depth of Greg's care and concern for you as a person and your health. Well,
and that's also why, too, to get back to Saturday, that's why the tickets are $9. We wanted you to have some buy-in, as opposed to people that are just showing up, I want to see Rob and Greg. Oh, they're radio people. But Greg wasn't looking to make money off of you just showing up. In fact, they basically get their money back when they walk in the door, right? So let's go through a little bit what's happening Saturday. Tickets are available at radradio.com, but right away there's a swag bag, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, swag bag's always a general term, right? But it's worth far more than the actual ticket itself. I worked with Black Dog Graphics to really get it together with a bunch of custom map gear that you'll actually use, which is always beneficial. You know, it's not like keychains.
How about that? And it's it all begins at 11 a.m. It's at the Randy Peters Catering Event Center in Roseville, California. You do have to have tickets to get in. You can't just show up on Saturday morning, but they're easy to get. They're cheap. They're at radradio.com. So then what else can they expect after they show up at 11 a.m. and they get their swag bag and they go, oh, wow, that's not a bunch of worthless crap.
You know, they actually have to go through a little functional movement screening to get the swag bag.
Aha.
So you need a ticket to get in, and then you have to make it through Daniel and Sydney, two of my teammates, to actually get to the swag bag. And then they can sit down. They're going to hear this awesome story about where I come from, so you actually know I'm not some schmuck just spitting stuff on the radio, and a little bit more about the journey, you know, for people like Brianna who are struggling to get through these decisions of how do I actually get going. We're going to play it out for you.
And I think one of the things we're going to do is we're going to go after a lot of, you call them, I call them the cants, you call them the doubt monster things, but there's a lot of specific things in there. I even reference them as we promote the event this Saturday, that there's always a well, yeah, but I can't do this. I don't have time. I'm not going to eat chicken and broccoli all the time. And you're going to try to go through why some of these things aren't true and how to get around some of them as well. I mean, because this woman that wrote in, who just started yesterday, or who's meeting you today, Ashley, mom, full-time student, her kids in sports. I mean, you want to talk about somebody that, quote, doesn't have time.
Yeah, I mean, if you've done anything worthwhile, that sounds a little aggressive. If you've done anything worthwhile in your life that you are proud of, I guarantee it wasn't easy, and you probably didn't have time to get it done when you did. We're all that way. It's if you have time to procrastinate, you will always procrastinate. But if you say, hey, I'm going to get this done in this time frame, hence why we use 6-week programs, you're going to get it done.
And just to make sure that everything stays like relatable and funny and great, because sometimes Greg, all these guys, all these experts that we have on, Shelby from Financial Shelby, you know, they can start talking industry-ese, and they use terms, and there might be people who start going, what the hell is that? That's why I'm there, because I don't know any of this crap, and I listen for you. And so Greg, if you've ever listened, you know he's a little hyper energetic Tony Robbins-esque. So every now and then I gotta be able to back him down a little bit. Go, wait a minute, big fella, you just used words that half the audience doesn't understand or know. Let's back up and let's talk about what is that exactly. Plus, I'm there for the entertainment factor, like a court jester, if you will. I'll be juggling on the side of the stage.
But the time thing, because like just in general, we do this where someone will be like, "Oh, you're so busy." To whoever they're saying it to, whether they're saying it to me or anyone else, and I'm like, my response is always, "We're all busy," right? Like, let's just start there in general. Everyone is busy, and so for someone who's, I think that would be inspirational for someone who has everything that this woman has going on. What's inspirational is there's a million other moms as well, and then they have found ways to integrate whatever the goal was.
It is amazing, too, how we all find time for what we think is important or valuable
for sure
at any given time. I'm not comparing myself to a mom who's working and going to school, all that, but I'm a fairly busy guy. I get up at 2 in the morning, I'm running a company, etc. It's amazing. I found an hour yesterday to go to the Nike store because it was important to me. I happened to be in the area.
Right.
Somehow, Mr. Busy, Mr. Rubbing his head at 5 p.m. Oh, I'm never going to get this done. Was able to find time. So, yeah, we'll talk about all that. It's Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Randy Peters Catering Event Center in Roseville, California. Tickets are just $9. You can go to radradio.com. Now, we're going to talk about, I think even maybe you have some samples of Maptrition products.
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
Well. Okay.
Absolutely. We'll be bringing those in.
So I want to get to some emails here. That first of all, this one is from Brad. Now, we're not going to advertise another product, but I want to ask you something. I want to make sure we don't see it. Do you know this product? Do you know that stuff?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Now, I don't know anything. You're a nutritionist. What's your resume, real quick?
It's long. It's a lot of letters. It's everything but a dietitian. I'm technically not a dietitian.
Because you're better than one.
Experience-wise, yeah.
Okay, so I'm none of those things. I don't have any letters after my name. So, but I right away had an answer about this because Brad is writing about Kyle's beloved Smasher product, which is available at radradio.com. If you go to the Stupid Store,
Superstore,
the Maptrition drop-down is right there. Will the Maptrition products be available on Saturday as well if anybody goes, oh, I want some of those?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're actually going to be right down the street from Map Training. So if I don't have it, I can get it for you.
Convenient. We could do like a Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs thing where we just walk
field
along.
trip.
Yeah. Hi-ho. Hi-ho. All right, Brad says this isn't so much of a question. question for Greg. Well, okay. As it is for Kyle regarding the Smasher pre-workout. How does it make you feel, Kyle? I heard you say it gives you the energy to not want to stop running and it helps you prevent getting winded so easily. But does it give you the tingly feeling of this product that has a name that makes me feel really uncomfortable while having tons of energy? On the other hand, I've also tried a creatine pre-workout, and it gives me that super strength feeling without any other uncomfortable physical feelings. Seems like we get this question for you every time because you've been on Smasher for months. You love it. But what about the tingly? You know what he means,
Yeah,
right?
I know exactly what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an onset feeling. I mostly get it when I'm on an empty stomach. Now, if you eat a little bit of something like some carbs, a piece of bread, or a granola bar or something, the effects goes away. But when I first started using it, I got the tingles right off the bat. However, a week into using Smasher, they were gone pretty much instantly. I don't even get the tingles now unless it's on an empty stomach.
All right, so Greg, you brought me the lemon smasher a few weeks ago when you were here, and I'm not like on a program or anything. I exercise when I can. I'm that guy. That stuff is extraordinary.
Was it extraordinary with water or vodka?
Water. I
Good point.
have
Good ask.
not. I have not dedicated an entire Saturday to experimenting with Tahoe Blue Vodka and Lemon Smasher. But so even for a guy that's not looking necessarily for the push to then go lift a ton of weights, although I do occasionally, or run or whatever, it like opened my brain. It got some energy going. I didn't get any of the tingliness. And what I was wondering was, I don't know all that other stuff that's in there, but the first thing I saw is that product that I showed you has twice the caffeine that your Smasher does. And your Smasher is the equivalent of like 1 to 2 cups of coffee. And that's theirs. You're pushing that 400 milligram limit that you're not even supposed to have in a day. So that was the first thing I noticed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you kind of doubled back to that because that is something that's major in the supplement industry. Because nothing is FDA regulated, you can pretty much put whatever you want in there before it gets taken off the shelves. So what a lot of companies will do is jack it full of things that you will feel, like creatine, and the other ingredient, caffeine, and the other ingredient is beta-alanine. That is what causes that tingling effect. It's the blood rushing to the top layer of your skin and causing that like almost bug feeling. But when you combine those things, yeah, you feel like you are just on one. I don't know what I can say on the radio. You feel like you're on one. And they do it so that you notice the effects. But what they'll do is with the quality ingredients that actually help you focus, that actually help the caffeine last or help your body process it, they pixie dust it. They drop a little bit in there just to let you know that they can put it on the label, but it's actually not enough to be effective.
So just to peel the curtain back, I have been going to Greg for a couple of weeks. You can find him at trainwithmap.com, and I also bought his products at mapnutrition.com, and it is just a fantastic product. I've been going to Greg for 3 days out of the week. And just using, so what I do is I use the Smasher in the morning.
Yeah, I noticed. Man, does it put a spring in your step?
Oh man, it is just an excellent product. And I do the lemonade. I'm waiting for the watermelon, but I do it in the morning time. And what it does is it definitely, like I think Greg has said, it dwills down my appetite. So I'm not really all that hungry until about 2 hours after. Then I'm starving. And then when I hit the gym at Greg's Fitness Center, I do the BCAA lemonade, and it gets me through. It's delicious. And then after, when I go home, I do the protein, and I mean, just following his, nutrition plan along with the workouts. And I'm so glad that when we talk, I had to cut down ice cream, unfortunately, but I got to have ground beef, so I get 93.7 when it comes to that. And I mean, it's just a transformation.
And that we always mention this, that you do work with people. You might tell them you have to cut down on something, but that you don't restrict them and take away the things that they love.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the only time when I'm sitting here guaranteeing crazy results in 6 weeks, I'm a little bit more strict. But, when we're just working together to get a meal plan together, we can make it work.
Phone number is 888-989-9811. You can email us, RAD@radradio.com. We're talking to Greg from trainwithmap.com. The MAP seminar with Rad Radio is this Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Randy Peters Catering Event Center in Roseville. You do have to get tickets. They are $9 each at radradio.com. Derek just wrote in and said, I was always told not to run or do any cardio after taking a pre-workout because the pre-workout already elevates your heart rate, and if you add running, it has a risk of a heart attack.
Whoa.
I mean, I guess it's going to raise your heart rate more, but you know, the reason that it says, hey, don't take this if you're under 18, or please consult a doctor before taking this, is strictly for liability reasons, not for safety reasons.
Yeah, and who is telling you? You said you've always heard this, like from multiple sources.
I actually do that a lot. I'll take my pre-workout and then sprint on the treadmill because it makes it highly effective.
Hello, Lisa. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey.
So this is week 5 of my 6-week challenge with Greg,
Oh, man.
and he actually keeps emailing me or messaging me back regarding breaking my plateau, and I broke another plateau today.
Ugh, I don't know what is going on there with the sound, but she's trying to praise you about how you're following up with her. It sounds like she's in your 6-week program, and her name is Lisa. I usually know all these people the minute you hear from them. I don't know. Could you get anything out of that?
All I heard was that she had a plateau, we talked, and she broke her plateau.
Perfect.
Boom.
That's good
Yeah,
news then.
That was the main thing.
That was the main
Yeah.
thing.
All right, as long as we got that out. We got this from let's say just signed it DG.
Hey, DG.
Says, hey Greg, I want to thank you for all your products and what you do. You have changed my mother's, my aunt's, and my life with your products. I'm 41 and I am off blood pressure meds. I lost 15 pounds just using your products.
Oh.
I have a back injury, and with your products, I am able to work out. My mother and aunt have taken all the meds for weight loss that caused issues, but with your products, they have the same results as I have. Thank you so much.
Weird, isn't it? It's amazing how effective it can be when you just do healthy things.
And it can be as simple as just that, as just don't do his meal plans. Don't work out or do your own workout and never go to his gym ever. These three are just going to radradio.com, going to the stupid store.
Superstore, actually.
And doing Maptrition. So just real quick, we've got multivitamins for men and women, and everything that people need just on a daily basis is in those.
Absolutely.
And designed specifically for each gender, and that's just like kind of a baseline. And those are for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely should be.
Yeah, I was going to say, I absolutely love those. The mental clarity I get from taking the Jack Evolve or the male version is outstanding. It helps a lot here at Rad Radio and doing the work.
So we talked about Smasher. Now, where are we with because we got the lemonade Smasher in stock. Where are we with watermelon?
It is on a pallet. It will be here Monday.
All right.
I'm so excited. I'm
Okay.
so excited.
And then we've got all the protein. We've got all the various shakes. We've got the cookies or whatever you do with them, cookies and cream and the twisted cinnamon. And where's the salted caramel? How are we doing with that?
We're doing a comeback on the salted caramel. The next thing coming back into stock will be the chocolate Max Work,
Oh, damn.
which was that was a crowd favorite.
Man.
So those are all available at radradio.com in the stupid store
Superstore!
under Maptrition, and will be featured as well on Saturday at 11 a.m. when Greg and I take the stage at the Randy Peters Catering Event Center. Get your tickets at radradio.com. We got this note from Christine.
Hi, Christine.
Says, I've been using Greg's products, and they help me considerably. I'm obese, in pain, and I work out almost every day, and I have for most of my life. And I do eat well. Working out relieves the pain, but I've been gaining weight uncontrollably since my knee surgery in 2020. Spent considerable amounts of money trying to find out why. And all that ever happens is the almighty doctors want to put me on these stupid pills that make me feel even worse. Thank God for Greg's products and my herbalist.
Oh.
Not all of us fatties want a pill. Some of us are willing to do the work and do it right. This has come up the last 3 or 4 times you've been here,
That's great.
especially as now big in the news. Ozempic is exploding again because Hollywood is making it a big deal. It's a diabetes drug, but it helps you lose weight as a side effect, and I know that this makes you cringe.
Hard. I was actually going to share it. We had that happen again this morning.
Ugh.
I had someone join our 6-week challenge. She has a lot of weight to lose. She came in. She lost about 15 pounds in like 2.5 weeks. And she went to the doctors, and they demanded she take a weight loss drug and lose 40 pounds even faster.
What?
She's almost 40 years old. My point stands. Where were they the last 10, 15, 20 years while the weight was going on? She's doing amazing. Luckily, she said no. But for everyone who's considering it, just get a second opinion.
We talk all the time on the show. Doctors is one of the categories where people feel like they can't question them, and they feel like what you said is gospel. They can demand that you do something, and if they don't, if the patient doesn't, then they're going to die or they won't get covered or all these other things. So you're telling me the way the doctors presented it was they demanded that she take one of these newer diet pills that are coming to lose, however, what'd you say, 40 pounds?
40 pounds.
That's how they demanded she do it rather than health and exercise?
They should have just been so happy that she was already on a program
Exactly.
and lost the 10. Did you say 10 or
15.
15? Like, they should have been like, That's a big deal. They should have been happy and been like, go on your way, stay with him. That's wonderful. But instead they're like, do they get kickbacks for these pills and stuff? I don't know. I don't know how all that works,
that
man.
gets us
but
into
like,
another
you
world.
know,
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not a doctor by any means or a
No.
pharmacist or anything like that, but I have heard rumors that these weight pills they will help you lose the weight, but they also will give you cardiovascular issues with your heart.
There's also, we've talked about, there's all sorts of potential side effects that or known side effects that can, anything we put in our body has especially prescription medication has possible side effects. So the more natural, the more healthy is what you tend to say, just go towards that.
Yeah, there's no warning on a gym label that says, hey, there's side effects to working out. It's awesome. Like,
Just don't drop it on your foot. You'll be fine.
I don't remember what it was called. Was it in the early 2000s? Like everyone, that was all the rage, and you would get it from your doctor. And I want to feel like it started with an F or a P.
Fen.
And it ended up being the worst thing, right? They ended up pulling it and taking it away because it ended up being so bad for people in the end. But boy, were they pushing it. And then they're like, "Oh, you might die of a heart attack." Gee, thanks.
Greg's too young probably to remember Olestra. That was going to be the miracle way that we could eat a bag of potato chips and not gain any weight. And it turns out the way that happened was the uncontrollable diarrhea it caused, which was also pulled.
Oh, gosh.
Sounds effective.
Yeah.
Since we're on the subject, Darren wrote in. We always get something like this. He says, "Hey, Greg, what's your opinion of the keto diet?"
I actually have nothing against keto. I just think that it is better used as an intermittent approach to breaking plateaus or weight loss or whatever you need versus a lifestyle. I just don't think it's something sustainable from a human standpoint, and there's definitely more long-term side effects that have not come out yet.
Since you use the word intermittent, it gives me a chance to also bring up, and the problem with when you get to celebrities is people always have an opinion or a reaction based on who the celebrity is, and they make their opinion not so much on what they said or why they said it, but, oh, I hate her or I love her. Gwyneth Paltrow has sparked furious backlash after sharing her daily wellness routine. Dozens of social media users and registered dietitians have urged people to, quote, stop listening to celebrities. That's good advice anyways. The trouble started when she appeared on a podcast and shared what she eats in a typical day. First of all, she doesn't eat until about noon. And that's the intermittent word, intermittent fasting. Then she has something that she says won't spike her blood sugar, just black coffee. Follows that up with bone broth, an hour of movement, which can be walking, Pilates, yoga, whatever. She ends the day with a sauna, an early dinner, and says she tries to eat, according to paleo, lots of vegetables. With no background, how do you feel about that?
Terrible. She told people not to eat all day. Black coffee is calorie-free. Bone broth is just about calorie-free. There's no carbohydrates. There's no nutrients. That's a terrible plan.
She did react to the backlash, and this all came out of like usual, right? A 40-second clip of an hour-long podcast that went viral. And she said, well, hold on. I was asked about my routine because I suffer from high levels of inflammation because she's got long COVID, which is this very real awful thing that a handful of people are getting where COVID stays with you and debilitates you. 60 Minutes did a thing with this poor woman who used to work out like Greg. She can't even carry her groceries to the front door now.
What? Wow. Oh, my gosh.
And Gwyneth Paltrow said it wasn't meant to be taken as generalized health advice. What I was describing was a conversation between me and my doctor. It's not meant to be advice for anybody else. So whether that was pullback or not, at least she said the right thing at that point. But even if you were... Does that even seem like something a doctor would be recommending for inflammation and things like that? I know we're getting out of your scope here.
No, I feel more like I don't know what a doctor would say anymore. They'd be like, yeah, not eating sounds like a great plan. Let's get the weight down. But I definitely don't feel like a diet that has 300 to 400 calories in it in a day is ever going to be supportive because you're just going to lose so much muscle mass.
Well, and I wish like when we see her, because I saw a clip of the video, I think like when we're so desperate, we're just hearing the words and we're like, that's the answer. Mm. And we're not looking at the person. Like, to me, she looks really sick, and maybe this is why. Like, I didn't know she had that. Like, if we would research it a little bit more, what else is going on with this person? Because do you really want to do what they're saying? Because they look frail. Like, they don't look healthy. Don't you want to follow the advice of someone who looks vibrant and healthy? And, you know, like, but when you're desperate, you're just hearing her words, right. And you're like, oh, I'm going to do that. Instead of like, well, my God, I feel bad for her. That's like awful.
Yeah, no, and it is part of the sickness and it's what I just love about what we do with you, Greg, is it shows how desperate people are to take a 40-second clip and go, I'm going to do that, without even researching, wait a minute, she's doing it specifically because, whether it's right or wrong, she's got this horrible long COVID thing going on.
Or you said it was an hour long? Why don't you listen to the full thing?
Yes.
Whatever the interview
Yes,
was,
the whole
why don't you
podcast
listen
was
to
an
the
hour.
whole thing?
Yes.
That's the whole point to Saturday, is the long version of the 40-second clips that people hear all the time.
Exactly. That's exactly right. You can get your tickets at radradio.com.
That's
It's this Saturday morning, 11 a.m., and Greg and I will be hosting. A couple of quick questions.